And welcome to today's episode on Your Health Truth with your host, Brock Hardman. And today I am extremely lucky. I have a guest speaker for today. His name's Patrick Sullivan, and he is the co-founder and president of a little company called Jigsaw Health. So thank you for taking some time out of your schedule, and appreciate you coming on to have a little interview with me.
Yeah, absolutely, Brock. Thanks for inviting me.
Sure.
Very excited.
Now,
Happy to be here today.
thanks, man. Now, a little bit on background. If you want to give a little bit of your background, just so people know who you are. Um, people have a little bit of background on me, and so they may kind of want to wonder what your credentials might be, or some of your background.
Sure. As you said, Patrick Sullivan Jr. I point that out usually because people confuse me oftentimes with my dad, Pat Sullivan. He and I started Jigsaw Health a little over 5 years ago, primarily based upon his experiences in the background. He was actually a pretty successful software entrepreneur. Some people may know him as the person who started a product called ACT, which was a really, really successful, popular contact manager in the 80s and 90s. And then he also did a kind of a big brother to ACT called Sales Logics. And so he was really successful in the software world, but kind of behind the scenes, he was really struggling with off and on with these recurrent chronic health conditions, battling everything from gastrointestinal problems to insomnia, fatigue, and even some depression and anxiety. And so he was constantly, in these different kind of meetings, having these issues kind of creep in the forefront or in the background. And so he really applied that same entrepreneurial panache and desire effort to figure out, what is going on with me. So over the course of really 25 years off and on these different issues, he managed to find different pieces to his puzzle. And he always said it felt like a puzzle, thus the name Jigsaw Health. He wrote a book called Wellness Piece by Piece in 2004, 2005. It was published by Health Press out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and continues to sell not as a blockbuster, but very much as an answer for lots of people out there with complex chronic health conditions that don't seem to have any kind of silver bullets or any kind of special pill that has made their issue go away. So when he and I started the company 5 years ago, he was very much the product idea guy, and I was very much his right-hand man, get it done guy, as I call myself. So I've had really a great opportunity to learn a ton about health that, quite frankly, I was not going down a path to learn, and it's made a very big impact in my life, and has also enabled me to help friends and other family members around me and people that I meet. They're like, man, I'm really struggling with gastrointestinal issues. So I'll say, you know what, you really need to start thinking about getting some probiotics here. Probiotics are one of the products that we do especially well at, although it's not, I would say, our core competency. Our core competency is really our magnesium. So yeah, I've been running the company now for a little over 5.5 years, and thankfully we've had a couple of good months in this last summer, and continue to grow. We're a 5-person company. We sell over the internet directly to consumers. We also sell a little bit through some doctors, mostly naturopathic doctors, and a few chiropractors that have picked up our product, but we never really kind of got too much into the multi-level marketing, or actually I should say we never got into any multi-level marketing or network marketing. We wanted to have that relationship directly with the customer and have them have the relationship to us. So that's a little bit of the background, probably a little bit more than necessary, but I think it's always important to include Pat's background in there, since I'm more of the operations guy, and he's really the one that has been the one that's struggled with all the issues and has thankfully found a lot of answers in many of the products that we have created. In fact, I would say all of the products that we've created have been specifically designed for one person, Pat Sullivan. It's kind of like, I need this probiotic to have at least 25 billion bugs. There's so many out there that only have 1 billion CFU of good bacteria. He's like, I need it with high dosage. Same thing with like the Jigsaw magnesium with sustained release technology. He knew for a fact that magnesium was a big thing that he was deficient in, but because of all his gastrointestinal problems, he just could not keep magnesium in him without going to the bathroom. So thus developing the proprietary plant-based sustained release technology that enables you to take high doses of magnesium without having to run to the bathroom. So
Very cool, man. And just to interject, I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but I did read the book you were talking about. It's was it Wellness Piece by Piece? I think that was the name of it.
that is correct.
It's awesome that that he put so much great information out, to the general public for absolutely no charge. And I read that book, and once I finished with it, I literally sat there and said, "Wow." 99.9% of everything that he just talked about I was going through. So it's
Wow.
like that's my life story, and I'm like, this is incredible that I found this. And so that's kind of what got me to find out about your company and his company. And my experience has been great. And one of the other things, and I haven't even told you this, but when I first ordered from you guys, the shipment was, I think, like a week late or something. And so I called and I said, hey, I made an order, and it was late. And without any question, forget the girl's name, but she said, you know what, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and send you another shipment. And it was there within like 2 days, no questions asked. So I was like, wow, that's customer service right there. So you probably weren't even aware of that, but
Very
that's what
cool.
happened. Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm a little embarrassed that you bring up a mistake. No, I'm just who knows what happened to the package.
Well,
Actually,
it came like 3 days after the other shipment came, so I ended up getting both products. But
you did?
there was some kind of the truck that they gave an excuse. The actual FedEx, or I forget if you guys use UPS or
Yeah,
FedEx.
we use FedEx.
That said that the shipment that it was on, something happened to the actual truck.
Oh
And
gosh,
so yeah. So I ended up getting it, but it obviously wasn't your fault.
sure.
But no, I mean just the way you took care of me was very impressive. So um, yeah.
Well, any new customer service agent that comes in, I've given them all the same speech. There's no, I tell them that your job is to act like it's you calling on the other end of the phone, and you have as much latitude to do whatever you think would be helpful if it were you calling in on the other end of the line. So it's very easy to work in Jigsaw Health customer service because there's no numbers in terms of like, hey, we only want to get a certain percentage of refunds, or we can only allow a certain X amount of dollars for certain customers. It's basically just like, look, it's the golden rule principle. Act like it's you on the other end of the line calling in. And so I'm really happy to hear that story, actually. I'm glad that they did that. That doesn't surprise me at all, actually. I'm really glad that they do.
Awesome.
And hey, I guess one of the things that I think too is, and I think this is a lesson for any company. You're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, right? The
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wine Library. Yeah. So Gary V, great guy. He talks about this. We're in a thank you economy, is I think the phrasing that he uses, but very much talks about customer service. And I very much agree with that. That through a mistake almost, you get the opportunity to show a customer like you, Brock, just how willing we are to go to make things right. So as a customer, you kind of expect you order something, it'll show up, right? You expect that from every vendor, and you expect that what you order to be quality. But what you don't know is what will a vendor do if a mistake happens, and that's really where I think brand loyalty is built in a very big way. When a mistake happens, if the vendor reaches, above and beyond where they need to be or where they could be, that's where it happens. That's where brand loyalty really happens.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. So, um, thanks for sharing, man. Good background. I guess now let's get to the products, man.
Sure.
I've taken obviously most everything actually you guys sell. I've been on your gastro bundle. I've been on the probiotics, the flax meal. I don't know if you guys still even have that anymore.
No, we don't carry that anymore, but it's still a great
That
product.
was an awesome product. The two that I use most frequently now are the vitamin C with SRT,
Yep.
as you can see here, and also the one you just held up, which is the magnesium with SRT.
Hmm.
So I understand, the significance and benefit of having a sustained release technology. Why don't you kind of explain to my listeners what all that means?
Yeah, there's a good way to explain it, I think, would be in terms of its opposite, which there's a lots of commercials that talk about, instant absorption, and lots of products that will use liquids and stuff. The problem is your body doesn't deal with every vitamin, mineral, amino acid, etc. in the same way, and there are some things that it can only process a certain amount of before it basically kicks it to either the feces or the urine to get rid of it. And a great example of that is, in fact, magnesium. The body can only process so much magnesium at once. And so if you're taking a magnesium powder in a drink, there's a really popular product called Natural Calm. And they use a good form of magnesium, but you can only take about 250, most people I should say, can only take about 250 milligrams at once. And you prepare it in a tea. They've got flavors and stuff like that. But for many people, especially those with gastrointestinal problems, like Pat, who had chronic recurrent gastrointestinal problems, it would go right through him. So what Pat wanted to do was to apply this sustained release technology. And so instead of spiking the body with that mineral, in this case magnesium, it expands it out over time. And what you have is your body has the chance to absorb it, to take it in, and then utilize it. We do the same thing with, you mentioned, vitamin C. Vitamin C is another product that for most people, especially those with gastrointestinal problems, if they take a whole bunch of it at once, it'll cause them to have diarrhea. So if you want to take high dose magnesium, and there's really, really interesting research on vitamin C. Everybody, I think, is probably familiar with the name Linus Pauling. The Linus Pauling Institute is, I believe, in Oregon, I believe. It's the name of a medical school. I think it's in Oregon. But there's tons of great research on vitamin C and what it does inside of the body. So seeing a similar opportunity with being able to take high-dose magnesium as taking high-dose vitamin C, we said sustained release technology is going to make a ton of sense for this. We launched vitamin C about a year ago to our customer base, and within 3 to 4 months, it shot into our top 5 top-rated, best-selling products. Which also, obviously, our number one is the magnesium, but vitamin C continues to be great seller, gets great reviews, and I don't know if you know much about our business, but without an auto ship program at Jigsaw Health, 80% of our monthly revenue comes from returning customers. And that's customers that are choosing to come back and buy stuff from us, not because we put them on like a forced continuity program. So we tend to get the bulk of our revenue each month from people coming back to buy the same products.
Yeah, and